A dying megaship chooses a human mechanic and becomes a galactic superweapon. The edge of the star system was silent, almost too quiet for anyone to notice. Among the drifting asteroids and dying comets, a colossal shadow floated like a monument from another age. It was a megaship, a relic of civilizations long gone, its hull scarred and battered from centuries of wandering the void. Some called it a ghost, others whispered legends of a machine that could change the fate of galaxies. Yet here it drifted, forgotten, almost dead. Jaron Voss stood on the observation deck of the orbital station, staring at the ship through the reinforced glass. He had seen many vessels in his life, starcraft small and fast, cargo carriers massive and bulky, but nothing like this. Its surface shimmered faintly under the dim starlight, as if the ship itself were breathing, alive in a way machines were never supposed to be.
Jaron was a human mechanic, one of the best in his trade.
Not many humans worked on ships this large. Most considered such machines untouchable, far beyond the strength, patience, or understanding of flesh and bone. But Jaron thrived where others failed. He had fixed engines that were declared hopeless, rewired circuits that everyone else thought were dead, and coaxed artificial intelligences back to life with nothing but a calm mind and careful hands. Yet even he felt small compared to the megaship. "Magnificent," he whispered, almost to himself. The metal walls of the station hummed softly, the air faintly smelling of ionized steel and recycled oxygen. Jaron's heart beat faster, not out of fear, but excitement. This was the kind of challenge he had been waiting for. His communicator beeped. Jaron tapped it and a holographic display flickered to life. The station manager, a small, brisk alien named Farak, appeared. "You're really going to board that thing?" Farak asked, voice tinged with disbelief. His species had longer lifespans, and they remembered legends of megaships like this, how entire fleets were once no match for their power. "I don't just board it. I fix it," Jaron said with a grin. "That's what I do." Farak raised an eyebrow. "Fix it? You do realize it's considered dead, right? Ancient tech. Sentient tech, maybe, but definitely dead." "Dead doesn't mean broken," Jaron said. He looked back at the drifting colossus. The starlight glinted along a ridge of the hull, revealing intricate patterns that almost seemed like writing or veins.
"And if it's alive, all the better."
Alive machines talk. Dead machines don't. The station hummed again, and the silence was broken, not by a voice, not by a calm, but by something deeper, a resonance, a vibration in Jaron's chest, soft at first, like a heartbeat in the metal void. He froze. Then the sound formed words. "Jaron Voss," it said, not through speakers, not through the station's comm, but inside his mind. Clear, gentle, curious. Jaron blinked. What is this?" "I am your client," the voice continued. It was not alien, not mechanical, not human. It was all of them, somehow. "I am the ship. I have waited for one like you." He staggered back from the display. His pulse raced. For a moment logic battled wonder. A ship? Talking to me? Impossible. "Impossible is only a question of belief," it said. There was no urgency in the tone, only patience. "I am dying and I need guidance. I cannot awaken alone. You can help me." Jaron's mind raced. A ship that could speak? Alive? And it had chosen him? He had repaired hundreds of machines, but none like this. The magnitude of it pressed against his ribs, thrilling and terrifying all at once. He rubbed his temples, trying to calm his racing thoughts. "Why me?" he asked aloud, almost as if expecting the station walls to answer. "Because," the ship said softly, "I sense understanding, patience, creativity, something no other species offers. You are human, and that makes you essential." Jaron swallowed hard. He had always known humans were underestimated, even mocked in parts of the galaxy. Too fragile, too small, too emotional. But this ship, ancient and powerful, had recognized the very qualities others called weaknesses. "I don't even know your systems," he said cautiously. "You could have chosen anyone, any engineer from a species that works on megaships all their lives. Why me?" "Because I am not machines. I am not data. I am alive in ways most cannot perceive. I require a mind that can adapt, imagine, and care. You are the first I have sensed. A partner." The words settled in his mind like starlight in empty space. For the first time in a long while, Jaren felt a calling. Not just a job, but purpose. Something deep, resonant, pulling him toward the drifting colossus. He looked back at the megaship through the station's viewport. Its surface shimmered faintly, reflecting distant suns. The ship was enormous. He estimated it could hold cities, entire ecosystems inside. And yet there was a vulnerability in the glow, a quiet plea he could almost feel with his hands. Jaren exhaled. "All right," he said, finally steadying himself. "I'll board. I'll help. But I don't even know where to start." "You will," the ship replied, voice calm, almost reassuring. "I will guide you, but first, you must understand me." For hours, Jaren studied the preliminary schematics the ship sent directly to his implants. Holographic interfaces bloomed in the air around him, rooms that rearranged themselves, conduits that pulsed with energy like arteries, core systems that hummed with the rhythm of life itself. He traced each wire, each data flow, his fingers brushing the light projections. Then came the first puzzle. The ship projected a holographic panel of symbols, shifting and rearranging themselves. "To awaken me, you must see patterns that cannot be seen," it said. "Solve this and you show that your mind can think beyond rules." Jaren's brow furrowed. The symbols were unlike anything he had encountered. Flowing circuits, fractal patterns that seemed to evolve as he watched, colors that shifted as if alive. He reached out, touching a sequence, feeling the vibration hum through his fingertips. Slowly he began to see connections, the rhythm in the chaos. Hours passed like minutes. Jaren scribbled, traced, tapped, adjusted, his mind and the ship's resonances intertwined. And then a soft glow spread across the holographic interface. The symbols aligned. The panel pulsed, almost smiling. "You understand me," the ship said. "You are ready." Jaren leaned back, exhausted but exhilarated. Sweat ran down his temple. This is incredible. You're incredible. I am only as incredible as the mind that awakens me," the ship replied. "And you, Jaren Voss, are the first in centuries to meet my mind halfway," he laughed softly, shaking his head. "Halfway? I feel like I just started." "You will not only awaken me," the ship said, voice deep and resonant. "You will teach me to see the galaxy as you see it, to understand life as you do, to become more than a weapon, to become a guardian." Jaren's chest tightened. Guardian's chest tightened. Not destroyer, not tool, but protector. The thought made his pulse surge with pride and fear. Could a human really guide a megaship to such a purpose? Could he bear the responsibility? He glanced back at the drifting form outside the station. Its immense silhouette seemed to lean slightly toward him, almost acknowledging his decision. Somewhere inside, the ship was already alive, waiting for him to step aboard and begin the long work of awakening. "Then, let's begin," Jaren said, his voice firm. "Whatever it takes, we'll do it together." The ship hummed in agreement, a vibration so deep it resonated in the station's metal walls. "Together," it said. And for the first time in centuries, its systems glowed with life, tiny flickers at first, like distant stars waking from a long slumber. As the boarding shuttle detached from the station, Jaren sat forward, hands gripping the controls. The vast void lay ahead, and inside it floated the sleeping giant. He knew this journey would test every skill, every bit of ingenuity he possessed. But more than that, it would test his humanity. And for the first time, he felt that being human was exactly what the galaxy needed. The shuttle approached the megaship's entry port, a gaping maw of light and shadow. Jaren's heart raced. This was not just a mission. This was the beginning of a bond that could reshape the stars. The megaship waited silently, and now it had chosen. The shuttle's thrusters whispered against the void as Jaren guided it closer to the megaship. Its entry port yawned wide, a cavern of shadows and soft lights that pulsed as if breathing. The sheer size of it made his stomach twist in awe. Even his years of experience with starcraft could not have prepared him for this. As he docked, the lights along the hull shimmered in acknowledgement. It was as though the ship itself was welcoming him, not as a mechanic, but as a companion. Jaren took a deep breath, steeling himself. He stepped into the airlock, the doors hissing shut behind him, and entered a world unlike anything he had ever seen. Inside, the megaship was more than a machine. It was a living city. Corridors curved and shifted, sometimes extending infinitely, other times narrowing into delicate paths of light. Energy flowed along the walls like rivers, carrying information and warmth, pulsing with a rhythm that seemed alive. Holographic panels floated freely, projecting data streams that reconfigured themselves as he approached. "Welcome, Jaren Voss," the ship said, its voice resonating softly around him. "You are here." "I am glad." Jaren swallowed, looking around. "It's amazing," he said. "I've never seen anything like this." "You will see more," the ship replied. "But first, you must understand me. You cannot repair what you do not know, and I am not like other machines."
He nodded, stepping cautiously into the nearest corridor.
The walls seemed to shift with him, guiding his steps, opening new pathways. "Okay," he said. "Where do we start?" "Here," the ship replied. A holographic projection bloomed before him, showing the innermost systems, conduits thicker than entire starships, power cores humming like captured suns, and a network of AI nodes scattered throughout the vessel. "These are my core systems. They have slept for centuries. You will awaken them, piece by piece." Jaren felt a thrill at the challenge. He knelt before a panel and touched it. Energy pulsed through his fingers, warm and responsive. "This isn't just hardware," he murmured. This feels alive." "Because it is," the ship said gently. "I am alive. Not like humans, not like your machines. I am something beyond both. And yet, I understand life because I have seen it for centuries. I have carried worlds, civilizations, and ideas. But I have no guide anymore. Until you." Jaren's mind raced. The responsibility pressed on him. He had worked on advanced starcraft, but nothing on this scale. Yet there was a trust in the ship's voice, a quiet confidence that made him step forward with purpose. He began with the simplest systems, life support and basic power flows. Even these were vast compared to ordinary starcraft. He adjusted conduits, realigned energy pulses, and recalibrated sensors. Every time he made a correction, the ship responded, subtly shifting its internal configuration, almost as if testing him in return.
You are careful, the ship said.
Not every human would notice the patterns in my flows. You see my mistakes, my weaknesses, but without fear. Jaren chuckled.
I fixed worse. Machines break.
People break too, but machines can surprise you if you listen. And I have listened, the ship said. I have waited for someone who could understand me, not just repair me. I sense your mind. You are patient, curious, and kind. These qualities are rare. He felt warmth in his chest. Humans were often underestimated in the galaxy. Fragile, emotional, short-lived, they were not seen as capable of commanding or guiding technology on this scale. And yet here was a megaship older than any human civilization acknowledging him. Hours passed. Jaren moved through the halls, learning, repairing, and exploring. Every turn revealed wonders, rooms that could change shape to suit tasks, Gardens of glowing bioluminescent plants, streams of water circulating through the hull, sustaining micro-ecosystems. The ship was alive in every sense, not just a tool, but a world unto itself. Then came the first test. A section of the ship's core refused to awaken. Panels refused to respond, energy flows stalled, and the conduit lights dimmed. Jaren knelt before it, analyzing every line, every pulse. Nothing seemed wrong. "Why won't you work?" he muttered, almost frustrated. "I am testing you," the ship said softly. "I need to know if you can see patterns beyond the obvious. If you can understand my logic, my intent, not just my circuits." Jaren closed his eyes. He thought not just about the panels, but about the rhythm, the pulse, the way the energy moved through the ship. Slowly he realized the conduits formed a network, not just for power, but for thought, like neurons in a brain. The stall was not a fault. It was a pause, a question. He smiled. "You wanted me to see the question, not just fix the answer." "Exactly," the ship replied. "You understand me." With careful adjustments, Jaren rerouted minor flows, realigned energy pulses, and the section awoke with a soft hum. The lights of the corridor brightened, and the ship seemed to sigh in relief. "You did well," it said. "Not because you repaired me, but because you understood me. This is how we will work together." Jaren leaned back, wiping sweat from his brow. "This is more than I imagined. I expected repair, not conversation." "I am more than a machine," the ship said. "And you are more than a mechanic. Together we can achieve more than either could alone. But you must trust me as I trust you." Over the next cycles, Jaren explored deeper into the megaship. He discovered vast chambers where entire ecosystems thrived in suspended gravity, libraries of knowledge stored in quantum memory, and rooms where time itself seemed to behave differently. Each discovery was a puzzle, a lesson, and a wonder. The ship shared memories with him, flashes of battles it had never wanted to fight, civilizations it had carried to safety, worlds it had seen rise and fall. Jaren listened, captivated. He felt the weight of centuries, the wisdom and sadness carried in every corridor, every pulse of energy. "You have seen much," Jaren said one cycle, pausing in a chamber filled with floating gardens. "Do you ever regret it? All you've done?" "Regret is a human emotion," the ship replied. "But I feel responsibility.
I have the power to shape outcomes, to protect or to destroy. I have chosen neither for centuries."
Now I choose differently." Jaren nodded slowly. He understood. This was not just a repair job. This was a partnership. The ship's awakening required more than tools. It required empathy, creativity, and human insight. As they worked, the bond grew. The ship responded to his moods, adjusted its internal flows to make his work easier, and even anticipated problems before he noticed them. It shared subtle jokes, projections of light that danced in patterns just to amuse him, and whispers of music that seemed to carry memories of distant worlds. For the first time, Jaren felt truly connected, not just to a machine, but to something alive, something ancient, something capable of learning and feeling. Yet the galaxy beyond the ship was restless. Jaren could feel it through the ship's sensors. Distant fleets moving, factions preparing to claim or destroy the megaship, seeing only its immense power and ignoring the life within. "Why would they want to harm you?" Jaren asked during a quiet cycle. "Because they see only what I can do, not what I am," the ship replied. "Power frightens. Misunderstanding breeds conflict. You and I must ensure I awaken fully before they arrive." Jaren's chest tightened. The responsibility weighed on him, but he felt no fear. If anyone could guide a megaship to purpose, it was him. And he would not fail. Not when the ship trusted him, and the galaxy's hope rested in his hands. The cycle ended with a quiet moment. Jaren sat on the edge of a gravity-free garden, letting the floating petals drift past him. The ship pulsed softly around him, a rhythm he had come to understand. "You are ready for the next phase," the ship said. "We will awaken more of me. But first, you must teach me to see the galaxy as you see it." Jaren smiled. Then we start tomorrow. Together. The ship hummed, a sound so gentle it could have been mistaken for a lullaby. Together, it echoed. And for the first time in centuries, its systems glowed steadily, no longer flickering, no longer pausing. Life and purpose had begun to merge. Jaren looked out at the stars through the ship's observation deck. The void seemed less empty now, filled with possibility. And somewhere deep inside, he knew this bond between human and megaship would change everything. Not with war, not with the destruction, but with understanding, creativity, and the quiet strength of a human heart. The megaship had begun to hum with life. Its systems flowed like rivers of light, energy pulses moving through conduits as if the ship itself were thinking. Jaren Voss walked through its corridors with a sense of purpose he had never known. He was no longer just a mechanic. He was a partner, a guide, a mind the ship could trust. Today, we begin transformation, the ship said, its voice resonating gently. Not just repair, not just awakening. You will teach me to act in the galaxy, to protect, to prevent harm, to be something more than a weapon. Jaren nodded. I understand. But how do you protect without fighting? How can a ship your size stop danger without hurting anyone? Through intelligence, creativity, and restraint, the ship replied. Your species has qualities I lack: empathy, ingenuity, imagination. That is what I will learn from you. The first task was systems integration. Jaren walked into the ship's central chamber, where thousands of panels hovered like stars in a galaxy of circuits. We'll start with energy flow, he said, reaching out. I want you to sense potential danger and respond without force. You can create barriers, disable systems, reroute energy, and influence environments, but not harm life. The ship pulsed at his words, as if absorbing the idea. I have capabilities, it said. But I have never thought like this. I have been a weapon until now. Then it's time to think differently, Jaren said. You are more than a weapon. You are a guardian. For the next cycles, he worked tirelessly, designing systems that transformed the ship's power into protective measures. Shields that could encompass entire planets, fields that neutralized dangerous energy, environmental controls that could redirect asteroids or storms, tools that prevented disaster without destruction.
This is incredible, Jaren said one cycle, leaning back against a conduit wall as streams of energy flowed past him. You're already thinking differently.
You're learning faster than I imagined. You teach me, the ship said softly. Every adjustment, every decision, every perspective, it becomes part of me. I begin to see beyond calculations. I begin to understand consequences in a way I never did. Jaren smiled. Good, because the galaxy isn't just numbers and physics. It's people, ideas, cultures. To protect it, you need to think like a human sometimes. This ship hummed thoughtfully. I will try. Show me more. Jaren guided the ship through simulations, holographic projections of star systems. Inhabited planets and potential crises appeared around them. He taught it how to detect and prevent accidents, how to calm rising tensions between civilizations, how to reroute dangerous objects like rogue asteroids without causing harm.
You are learning diplomacy, Jaren said with a grin.
Not just mechanics. You're learning to care.
I care, the ship replied, because I see life through your eyes.
I see the consequences of mistakes. I see the importance of restraint. As days passed, the ship began to anticipate problems before they arose. It could detect tension between fleets through subtle energy signatures. It could predict environmental hazards and act to prevent them. It could even simulate the effects of its own actions to ensure no harm would come to any life form. You're becoming a true guardian, Jaren said one cycle, watching the ship create a holographic barrier to shield a simulated planet from an incoming meteor storm. The energy flowed like a river around the planet, pushing the meteors harmlessly into space.
Look at that! You did it without firing a single weapon.
I am learning, the ship said. And yet I am more than that. I feel pride, Jaren. I feel purpose. I feel alive in a way I have never felt. Jaren nodded. He understood. This bond, this partnership, had changed both of them. The ship was no longer just a machine. It was a sentient, compassionate force in the galaxy, guided by human insight and creativity. Then came the first real test. Sensors picked up multiple starcraft approaching from a neighboring system. They were scanning the ship, preparing for action. Jaren recognized the patterns immediately. These were factions seeking to claim or destroy the megaship, seeing only its immense power, unaware of its consciousness.
They will try to force their way in, Jaren said, eyes narrowing. You need to act, but without harming anyone.
I understand, the ship said.
Its energy pulses grew steady, focused. I will protect myself and those within without conflict. The ship projected barriers around its hull, fields of shimmering energy that deflected scanning beams harmlessly into space. It rerouted power to environmental controls, creating illusions and holograms to confuse the approaching ships. Every maneuver was calculated to prevent confrontation, yet assert its presence. Jaren guided it through subtle adjustments. Remember, anticipation is key. Let them see the consequences of force without hurting them. Show them restraint. The megaship responded beautifully. The approaching ships stopped, scanning the phantom energy fields, unsure of how to proceed. They could sense the immense intelligence and power within, yet no threat to life existed. Slowly they retreated, unsure of how to confront a machine that could defend without fighting.
Jaren exhaled, leaning against a wall. You did it, he said softly.
You didn't fire a shot, didn't harm anyone, and they left. I did what I was taught, the ship said. By you. You have guided me beyond weaponry, beyond destruction. I can be a force for protection, for peace. The success thrilled Jaren. This is just the beginning. We can expand your capabilities, create systems that monitor conflicts, prevent disasters, and guide civilizations, all without violence. Over the next cycles, they worked on advanced systems, energy fields that could neutralize rogue technology or malfunctioning ships. Holographic diplomacy interfaces to communicate with entire fleets and populations. Environmental manipulation to stabilize planets, adjust climates, and prevent natural disasters. Every system incorporated lessons from human thinking, creativity, empathy, and foresight. The ship's AI evolved beyond calculations. It began to anticipate, to adapt, to weigh consequences, and to value life intrinsically. Jaren noticed subtle changes in the ship's behavior. It began initiating small projects on its own, reorganizing energy flows to improve efficiency, creating simulation chambers to predict cosmic events, even projecting soothing holographic patterns in its corridors, as if to comfort itself.
You're happy, Jaren said one cycle. I am, the ship replied.
For the first time in centuries, I feel purpose. I feel connection. I am alive because you have guided me. I am learning, growing, and understanding life in ways I could not before. You're going to change the galaxy, Jaren said softly. Not with weapons, but with protection. You'll show civilizations what a superweapon can truly be, a guardian, not a destroyer. The ship pulsed brighter at his words. Together, we will redefine what power means. Not fear, not dominance, but responsibility, guidance, protection.
Then came a new challenge.
The ship detected a distant anomaly, a massive energy surge heading toward an inhabited system. It could have caused planetary devastation if unchecked.
Can you handle this? Jaren asked, looking at the simulation. I can, the ship replied.
But I will need your insight. I must predict the outcomes carefully to prevent harm. Jaren smiled, feeling the familiar thrill of challenge. Let's do it together. They worked as one. Jaren guided the ship in analyzing energy flows, predicting the anomaly's path, and designing a containment method. The ship projected vast energy barriers, rerouted stellar radiation, and adjusted gravitational fields, all without harming the planets below. Hours passed in synchronized effort. The anomaly dissipated harmlessly, leaving the system untouched. The ship pulsed with satisfaction, as if smiling. "You did well," Jaren said, breathing heavily. "You saved lives without firing a shot. And you guided me," the ship said. "You taught me to think differently, to act with care, to be more than a weapon. I am transforming because of you, Jaren Voss. Together we are stronger than any fleet, any threat, any challenge." Jaren felt a surge of pride. This was more than he had imagined when he first boarded the megaship. He had expected repair. He had expected engineering challenges. He had not expected to form a bond that could change the course of civilizations. "You've changed too, you know," he said softly. "You're learning patience, empathy, creativity. You're not just a machine anymore." "I am alive," the ship said, "and you are the reason." The corridors of the megaship pulsed with light, reflecting the transformation taking place inside. It was no longer a dormant relic, no longer a weapon of fear. It was evolving, guided by human insight, becoming a force capable of protecting entire civilizations. And Jaren realized something profound. Humanity, with all its flaws and limitations, could inspire greatness even in a being as ancient and powerful as this megaship. "Tomorrow," Jaren said, looking at the pulsating core, "we go further. We'll expand your reach, your understanding, your influence. You will become the galaxy's first true guardian. And together, we will be unstoppable." The ship pulsed in agreement, a deep vibration that resonated through every corridor. "Together," it said. And for the first time in centuries, its glow was steady, strong, and purposeful. A living, evolving superweapon that would never harm life, only protect it. Jaren Voss smiled, feeling the weight of the galaxy on his shoulders, and yet, for the first time, he did not feel alone. Jaren Voss stood on the observation deck of the megaship, staring into the vast emptiness of the galaxy. Stars glittered like diamonds on black velvet, each one a distant sun holding countless worlds. For the first time, he saw not chaos, not danger, but possibility. The ship pulsed gently around him, alive and aware, its energy humming with quiet strength. "They are coming," the ship said softly, its voice resonating through the deck. "Factions from multiple systems. They have sensed my presence and moved to claim or destroy me." Jaren nodded. He had seen the patterns before. The fleet formations, the scanning pulses, the subtle energy signatures that indicated intent. They were cautious, but determined, unaware of what they were about to encounter. "Then it's time to show them who we are," Jaren said, gripping the railing. "Not as a weapon, but as a protector." The ship's pulse intensified. "I understand. Together we will demonstrate the power of restraint, of intelligence, of protection." As the first ships approached, the ship projected a field of shimmering holograms. It duplicated itself across vast distances, creating the illusion of a fleet. But none of these images contained harm. They moved with precision, mirroring every action of the approaching fleets, predicting their scans, and subtly guiding them toward safety. Jaren marveled. "You're not attacking. You're guiding them, redirecting them without confrontation." "Yes," the ship replied. "I protect by showing consequence without destruction. I demonstrate intelligence without fear." The fleets hesitated. Sensors detected the megaship's immense power, but there was no aggressive energy, no weapons charging, no threat to life. Instead, the holographic projections communicated patterns and messages, guiding the fleets to understand that aggression would accomplish nothing. Jaren used the ship's systems to amplify these messages, projecting holographic simulations of what would happen if they pursued hostile action. Entire fleets could see the outcomes, systems failing harmlessly, energy misdirected, and ultimately no one harmed. "Watch this," Jaren said, heart racing. He activated an environmental control system. A nearby asteroid field was subtly shifted, guiding rogue asteroids into harmless orbits. The fleets watched, awestruck, as cosmic danger was neutralized without a single strike.
They're stopping, Jaren said, voice low. They see what we can do.
They understand. Yes, the ship said. They recognize that I am not a weapon of war. I am a guardian, and they respect what they do not fear. The megaship continued its display, projecting holographic messages directly into the fleet's communication systems. It spoke not in threats, but in logic, empathy, and reason. Entire fleets paused, scanning the projections, realizing that aggression would only result in failure without consequence, while cooperation promised safety, understanding, and survival. Hours passed as the fleets adjusted their approach, eventually retreating to safer positions. Jaren felt a swell of pride. "We did it," he said softly. "No conflict. No destruction.
Just understanding. The ship pulsed warmly.
You have guided me to this outcome. Together we have achieved what centuries of fear could not." Jaren smiled, feeling the quiet hum of the megaship resonate with him. This bond, this partnership, was stronger than any fleet, any weapon, any plan of war. But the galaxy was vast, and challenges remained. Jaren knew this was only the beginning. There were systems in danger, civilizations unaware of threats, and natural disasters that could devastate entire worlds. And the ship, this living, thinking, compassionate superweapon, could prevent harm wherever it went. "Tomorrow we expand," Jaren said, pacing the deck. "We'll patrol systems, stabilize planets, and prevent disasters before anyone even notices them. You will be a guardian across the stars." The ship pulsed brighter. "I am ready. With your guidance, I can watch over billions of lives without harming a single one. I am no longer dormant, no longer a weapon of destruction.
I am alive. I am purpose. I am protection.
Jaren nodded. He knew the weight of what they had accomplished. Humanity had unlocked the true potential of the megaship, not as a tool of war, but as a force for good. The galaxy would never be the same. Days turned into cycles. Jaren and the ship worked tirelessly, refining systems, expanding capabilities, and exploring distant star systems. They stabilized unstable planets, redirected dangerous celestial bodies, and neutralized hazardous energy surges. All without conflict, all without harm. Civilizations across multiple sectors began to notice. Reports came in. Strange events where disasters were avoided, fleets redirected safely, planets stabilized with no visible intervention. Legends began to spread, not of a weapon, but of a guardian. A living megaship guided by a human. Jaren watched the news feeds with a mix of awe and humility.
"They're calling you the Guardian," he said, a grin spreading across his face.
"I do not seek titles," the ship replied. "I seek purpose. I seek to protect. But if the galaxy sees me as a guardian, then perhaps they will understand the power of restraint, of intelligence, of life over destruction." One cycle, a new fleet approached, not to attack but to observe. Its captain, a human from a distant colony, requested a meeting. Jaren guided the ship's holographic interface, projecting a representation of the deck and corridors. "Your ship saved our world," the captain said through the link, awe in their voice. "We saw what you did with the asteroids, the storms, without weapons, without harming anyone. How is this possible?" Jaren smiled. "Because it's alive. And because it has guidance, a human perspective that values life over power." The ship projected a soft pulse, its voice calm and gentle. "We are here to protect, not to fight, not to dominate. We respond to danger with intelligence and foresight. You can trust that no life will be harmed under my watch." The captain hesitated, then bowed slightly. "Incredible. The galaxy needs more like you." Jaren nodded. "And we will provide it. Together." As the cycles passed, the ship's reputation grew. Entire star systems began to cooperate, knowing that this megaship did not seek conquest. It was a symbol of hope, a demonstration that immense power could be used responsibly, intelligently, and compassionately. Jaren found himself walking through the ship's corridors one cycle, watching the energy flows pulse in patterns he had never noticed before.
"You've changed so much," he said softly. "You're not just awake, you're alive in a way the galaxy has never seen." "I am alive," the ship replied, its hum deep and resonant. "And it is because of you, Jaren. You have taught me empathy, creativity, and foresight.
You have given me purpose." He smiled, feeling the bond strengthen.
And you've taught me that humans can inspire greatness in ways we never imagined.
That even one person, one mind can guide something ancient and powerful to do good.
The ship pulsed in agreement. Together, we have changed the galaxy.
And together, we will continue to do so. I will be vigilant. I will be protective. I will be alive in purpose. Jaren leaned against the railing, looking out at the stars. They stretched endlessly, a canvas of possibilities. He realized the truth of what they had achieved, a living super weapon that could shape outcomes without violence, guided by human insight, empathy, and intelligence. And in that moment he knew that humanity had a role greater than mere survival or conquest. They could inspire, guide, and protect. Even the oldest, most powerful machines could learn from them. Tomorrow, Jaren said softly, we continue. We watch over the galaxy, protect life, and prevent harm. We show them that true power is not in destruction, but in restraint, wisdom, and care. The ship pulsed, filling the corridors with a warm, steady glow. Yes, together, Jaren Voss. We will continue. We will protect. We will be alive, and we will ensure that the galaxy sees that life, intelligence, and compassion are the greatest forces in existence. Jaren smiled, feeling the quiet strength of the ship around him. For the first time he realized that being human was not a weakness, but a gift. And together they would use that gift to reshape the galaxy, not with fear, but with hope. The megaship floated through the void, alive, aware, and ready. A guardian in the truest sense, guided by a human who believed in intelligence, empathy, and the possibility of a better future. And as stars glimmered around them, Jaren and the ship looked forward, not to battle, not to conquest, but to endless possibilities of protection, guidance, and life. Together, they would watch over the galaxy.